Let's talk about the Donovan Mitchell trade rumors. Donovan Mitchell is one of the best guards in the league, without doubt, and maybe one of the best scorers in the NBA right now. And you just open to listen to trade offers from other teams, and the one question that I have is, what's the asking price for Donovan Mitchell? Because we saw how much Minnesota had to give up for Gobert. Even though I think it was an overpay, it kind of set the market for everybody else. Like, look at Kevin Durant right now with Brooklyn. The teams that I could see trading for Donovan are the Knicks and the Heat. I don't see anybody else getting in the sweepstakes for Donovan Mitchell. The Knicks probably have the best pieces for the trade. Quentin Grimes, Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly, or even throw in a Mitchell Robinson, who they just paid a 4-year deal of $60 million. But the problem that I see is with Donovan in New York is the backcourt fit with Jalen Brunson. Because then you would have two 6'1 guards who are both guards that need the ball in their hands to operate. And on the defense side, it could be a problem too with having shorter guards. And Donovan didn't look great in the Dallas series, but I think if you're the Knicks, you just do it so you can have playoff basketball back in New York. And I think if you acquire Mitchell, you will be a playoff team, or at least you should be, because then you would have Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle still, even though he could still get moved, but I don't think so. I don't think Julius has a market where you would get the same as where you would get the same player. And then with Miami, I just don't see what the Jazz would want because they don't need Larry, who's making like $20 million over the next 2 years. And I think Bam is untouchable. I mean, you could put Bam into it, but I don't know if the Jazz would want Bam if they want to go in a full rebuild mode. And I think the best package that he can bring up would be probably Tyler Hero as the young star, Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, Nikola Jovic. Even though you can't trade him right now, that would be in 30 days. I don't know if the Jazz would want to wait this long, if they are willing to trade Mitchell. And you probably have to give up 3 to 4 first round picks. And maybe throw him some pick swaps in a second. And if I'm the Jazz, I would want to trade with the Knicks because you got Grimes, Toppin, and Quickly. And then New York is going to throw in 4 or 5 first round picks. Because I think if you want to trade for Mitchell, you gotta at least throw in 3 first round picks. Just because of the Rudy Gobert trade. So the Knicks and the Heat are the only teams who I think would trade for Donovan. I don't see anybody else really trading for him. And maybe he doesn't get traded. Since he has the Woj posted that the Jazz are willing to listen to offers, I think if you're the Utah, you should trade him just because you traded Gobert away, go into full reboot mode, and just go through the draft, pick good. You got Danny H, who showed how you do with Boston, and I think you just trade Mitchell and then rebuild through the draft, and then hopefully you find a gem.